Afternoon, everyone. And abinunli blogera. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our good Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape and Lady Marape, good President for the Autonomous Region of Bougainville, and my good friend, President Toroama. It's really good to see you here too, sir. And our ministers of Parliament from Papua New Guinea, vice ministers, members of Parliament, distinguished dignitaries, PNG Chamber of Resources and Energy people, and various dignitaries that are here today, various esteemed delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. And a special one to Mr. Anthony Smare, the President of the PNG Chamber of Resources and Energy, who managed to twist my arm to get me here today. Arrived on the last flight yesterday and back home tomorrow to beautiful Port Moresby and Lae. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the customary landowners and custodians, past and present, of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, on whose sacred land we convene our meeting. Thank you. As we conclude this remarkable 2024 Papua New Guinea Investment Week, I extend my deepest appreciation to all you participants. Your involvement, rich discussions, and innovative ideas have truly embodied the collaborative spirit of this event. You have already heard our Prime Minister speak and his visions. You have already heard our ministers speak and the visions. You have already heard our delegates speak and their visions. You have interacted with all of them, and I am certain you have taken away a lot from that. The rebranding of this event by the PNG Chamber of Resources and Energy, core, and expanding to include the renewable sectors just makes sense. It makes a whole heap of sense. I understand there was 1,700 delegates that were present here in various functions, and it was one of the biggest events I held so far. So congratulations again, are in order, PNG Core, and all the participants. I commend you. I commend you for this logical and forward-thinking approach. We are moving forward in leaps and bounds, interacting with various business organizations, and most importantly, interacting with investors and attracting them to come to our beautiful shores of Papua New Guinea. This event, held in Sydney, Australia, this investment week, has symbolized the strength of dialogue and partnership under the theme, creating opportunities and reinvesting equity. Sydney, as a global investor hub, has provided the perfect backdrop of this event, offering unparalleled facilities, connectivity, and a vibrant business environment that fosters meaningful connections and collaborations. What better so in Sydney, Australia, which is one of our biggest trading partners and one of our closest bilateral partners. For Papua New Guinea, this gathering marks a significant opportunity to harness the immense potential of the nation's resources sector, encompassing minerals, oil, and gas, along with the related economic sectors, as we approach the 50th anniversary of our independence. Whilst our resources sector has long served as a backbone of our economy, since then this conference has illustrated the huge opportunities for continued growth, diversification, and shared prosperity, not only in the extractive resources sector, but also in the non-extractive resources sector. As you have seen in the presentations and heard during the Prime Minister's speech and the various delegate speeches and the discussions throughout the week, our mineral resource reserves are some of the richest and most diverse in the world, from oil and gas to gold, copper, nickel, cobalt, and limestone. Papua New Guinea is blessed with many resources essential to the global economy. Combined with a renewable sector, the economy of PNG looks brighter and promising, with a pathway set for long-term economic sustainability. There is no better way to hear this story than to hear it in person from government, from our Prime Minister, from our members of Parliament, and the industry stakeholders who continue to write the success scripts for a developing nation here at the 2024 PNG Investment Week. You have heard the Prime Minister speak and open it, and now you hear me close it. It shows that we, as a nation, want investors in Papua New Guinea, and we want to encourage investors in Papua New Guinea. This year's event has demonstrated that together we can make history. For example, after the negotiation process, which started 5 years ago, the PASCA A Project Petroleum Development Agreement was finally agreed to on the fringes of this conference. This milestone agreement now will be tabled for the National Executive Council of Papua New Guinea and the Board of Directors of Twinza Oil to provide the final approvals for execution. Once in operation, the PASCA A project is expected to contribute 15 billion to PNG and 30 billion in gross domestic product impact over the life of the project. The government and the project partners are working hard to also deliver on the Wafi Golpu, which is in its very, very close stages of completion, and the Papua LNG very, very soon. I would like to assure you that we are not sitting on our laurels, but ensuring that we work hard to ensure these projects get off the ground. The PNG Investment Week has also brought together a collective pool of knowledge from which we can all draw. This is evident in the record turnout of delegates and entities who have exhibited, and more importantly, the 102 presenters from both government and industry who have shared the hurdles, insights, and strategies for success. While Papua New Guinea as a nation faces its share of challenges, our nation's true strength is not only in the wealth beneath our soil. It lies in our collective vision to overcome these obstacles and responsibly and inclusively harness our resources for the benefit of all, especially our people and children. The Prime Minister has outlined the government's visions and target to achieve a 200 billion economy by the year 2030. People said it might not have been possible, but you look back on history in 2019, when we first started in government, our budget was, in 2018, 14 billion budget. In 2024, it was a 27 billion budget. Proposed for 2025, which we just passed, is a 28 billion budget. We have nearly doubled the budget since 2018. So the growth is there. One strategy to achieving this target is to develop a circular economy where the revenue generated from the non-renewable sector is reinvested into the renewable sector. Because as we know, the extractive industries will one day be gone, but the renewable sector is where we need to focus on also, such as fisheries, agriculture, timber, tourism, downstream processing, and human capital development. I point out here some approaches on how the circular economy could be developed in a practical way, one of which is, as Lands Minister, land reforms that we are doing to stimulate the non-renewable sector. Security of tenure on our land titles and the bankability of land titles are two critical factors for stimulating investment in the non-renewable sector. Investors need secure, bankable titles. Land reforms remain a sensitive issue in PNG, but under our current government and leadership, significant progress is being made to strike a balance for a win-win for all parties, including our customary landowners who own over 96% of the land. Partnering with state, investors, and financial institutions that make land bankable, that make partnerships progressive, and ensuring security of tenure for our investors. It is early days, but we are making good progress. I will outline in the March 2025 sitting of Parliament the reforms to date and the relevant amendments to land laws and the vision going forward in the land sector. Overall, the focus is that secure and bankable land is made available for investment in the non-renewable sector, working in partnership with all stakeholders, especially our customary landowners. Thus, the government has focused on this by appropriating a significant budget of 150 million kina last year and this year in our land partnership program to ensure that this is achieved and moving forward in 2025. You have heard one of our speakers earlier speak in a project called Harbour. That is a partnership between traditional landowners, a partnership between government, freeing up, as an example, 585 hectares of land, working in consultation with our traditional landowners and working in close consultation with our investment development partners, freeing up that land and starting a massive housing project. The first stage will be developing about 4,000 home and land packages for our people, which constitutes to an average of 400,000 kina per land and allotment package, which will turn out to be about a 1.6 billion kina return on investment. We are going down the path of electronic records and also going down the path of strata titling to ensure more businesses improvement. Reforms into immigration are also ongoing. You have heard from the Acting Chief Migration Officer during the Regulators Forum, so I'll not go into very much detail here. I will, however, say that as a country, we'll work towards attracting investors to Papua New Guinea by making visas more accessible, the turnaround time more accessible. I can also inform the investment community that we are reviewing the Immigration and Citizenship Act and associated regulations to streamline and create opportunities for investors and skilled people to invest and work in Papua New Guinea and call Papua New Guinea their home for their businesses and families. Making it easier for Papua New Guineans who also live abroad and have taken up citizenship in other countries. We are offering dual citizenship to our own Papua New Guinea citizens who currently are professionals, pilots, doctors, and engineers who work overseas that can enable them to come back home and assist us in developing our nation. Making it easier for those who are married to Papua New Guineans and their children to become PNG dual citizens. We are also making it easier for investors to become PNG dual citizens and permanent residents. Developing visa categories for investors for permanent residency status, developing visa categories for targeted skilled migrants, streamlining our work visa programs, making it more accessible, and streamlining the tourist visa programs and the business visa program. We could go on, but I will keep it short as you had everyone speak already. We are currently working on improving our border management systems, which will enable us to do our turnaround time for visas in a much faster, transparent way. Basically, we are improving all services and systems to be conducive for business, to be conducive for investors, to make it easier for them to come to Papua New Guinea and trade and work and invest in PNG. These are some of the many initiatives our government is undertaking through its state agencies to encourage investment in Papua New Guinea. Our other efforts are also directed towards improving our security, our law and order in Papua New Guinea. You have heard our police minister speak earlier. People see on social media, hear on social media, and yes, we do have some issues and hurdles that we need to fix. But you can be rest assured that we are doing everything possible to ensure that we fix some of the law and order issues that affect our nation. We're not just talking about it. We have actually put money into it. Next year's budget would be one of the biggest budgets towards the law and order sector, totaling over 700 million kina towards improving our police force, improving our CIS correctional facilities, improving our magisterial services facilities. And let me give you some facts. Before 2019, 10 years before 2019, we had not had one police recruitment for 10 years. So you can imagine a population of about 12 million people with only 6,000 policemen and women to cater for a nation. We did not have enough policemen and women to be able to do everything necessary to maintain our law and order. So we have to move faster and quicker, working in close consultation with our bilateral partners and working with our own budget framework and putting more money into it. We have actually put more money than ever before into our law and order sector. Police have received, as I said, 700 million. Our CIS for rebuilding the infrastructure facilities for corrective institutions have received a bigger PIP program. Their recurrent budget has been expanded. And for our magisterial services, which carry 80% of the workload for prosecutions or dealing with crimes, have been given an increased capacity building. They used to before have only 46 million kina for our magisterial services. Our government has made certain that law and order is a priority, and we have trebled the magisterial budget with the recruitment also of 28 new magistrates and working in partnership with our bilateral partners like Australia to bring in some Commonwealth judges and some Commonwealth police officers to assist in the management and discipline of our police force and our CIS in Papua New Guinea. So we are not just talking about it, let me assure you. We are actually doing a lot behind the scenes that we do not brag about. We are continuing our investment in health and education to enable a skilled and healthy workforce. We're also sending our students to attend through the STEM education pathways to the United States, to China, to India, so we can also, our students, be able to participate, be able to work in other universities to ensure that they bring that knowledge and skill set back to our own country. We're investing in critical infrastructure developments, including information technology, and I am quite certain that with the participation of Starlink, we will see in the near future Starlink operating in Papua New Guinea to make certain that we have greater connectivity for businesses and investors in PNG. With our Connect PNG program, we have invested over $1 billion kina to ensure that we connect the rural parts of Papua New Guinea, to open it up for the people to access produce, access health services, access law and order services, and the benefits are huge and enormous, creating nearly over 30,000 jobs and enabling 300 Papua New Guinea companies to be successful and operate in our country successfully. Strengthening our foreign policy to improve trade, investments, and the development of special economic zones. We are investing in that, and I'm quite certain you have heard our Foreign Trade Minister express that in details. Our bilateral relationships that have been fostered by the Prime Minister and our Foreign Affairs Minister has gone in leaps and bounds, and that has all worked towards targeting a better, more modern Papua New Guinea. For our SOEs, providing water supplies, providing reliable energy, we all know that is an issue. Finding solutions to these things, finding solutions to a better aircraft travel. But not just talking about it again, we have actually, as a nation, now invested into refleeting our national airline with the acquisition of 9 new planes that will now replace all our domestic airplanes in Papua New Guinea to give better, efficient, cheaper, reliable service for our investors and our own citizens. We're investing heavily into our electricity supply to ensure that we provide a good energy system for Papua New Guinea also, and basically, most of all, for our investors. Our bilateral relationships with other countries like Australia, New Zealand, and other countries, we have worked closely with them to ensure that we work in partnership and assist in overcoming a lot of the obstacles mentioned above. I reiterate the message by our Prime Minister in his opening address that we remain committed to doing our part to addressing these challenges. The 2025 budget is themed securing PNG in 2025 and beyond, and aims to lift living standards and create jobs through strong economic growth and address, most importantly, our law and order issue. This government is committed to ensuring that happens, and your investor confidence and support can help us get there. The updates on Pyongyang, Papua LNG, and Wafi-Golpu projects illustrate traction and progress for each project, demonstrating the collaborative effort and determination between both government and industry to ensure a win-win for all. Papua New Guinea is on a journey to diversify its economy. As you have heard and seen throughout this conference, our government has developed strategies to improve investment in not only extractive industries, but agriculture and fisheries, to name a few. To support diversification, the government acknowledges the importance of our service and utility sectors, which are also improving, the manufacturing sector and the banking sector, allowing for the expansion of the banks and improvements in the financial sector. We see these in the introduction of new banks and the upgrading of services by existing banks. In mentioning the above, it goes to demonstrate the strong drive between the government and the private sector over recent years to work collaboratively to improve the investment climate. As you have heard, our government has embarked on reforms to enhance governance and economic sustainability. We are committed to creating an investment environment that mutually benefits our investors and our stakeholders, our shareholders, the citizens of Papua New Guinea. One where landowners, our provinces, and government can also thrive in harmony with our investors. One where investors can find enduring value and can prosper. Join us on this journey. Join us on this journey because the rewards are enormous. Ask any business operating in Papua New Guinea. To the potential investors in this forum, do not be deterred by negativity. Yes, we have challenges, like a lot of other countries. But together, working in harmony, in unity, we can overcome these challenges for a better Papua New Guinea, but also for a productive, rewarding, profit sharing for both investors and the people of PNG. Papua New Guinea is more than a destination for investment. It is a land of unparalleled opportunities, and we are open and ready for business. Once again, I thank you all for your engagement and interest in Papua New Guinea, and congratulate Mr. Smare and the Corps for organizing a very informative conference. To all participants, we value your friendship. Let us continue to forge partnerships that drive growth and create a legacy of success for generations to come. I welcome you to Papua New Guinea on behalf of our government. You have heard a lot of speakers speak before me and given you relevant assurances. Please join us when we celebrate our 50th celebrations, our anniversary next year as a nation, becoming a nationhood. And I would like to thank you, and I wish you safe travels and continued success in your endeavors wherever you go. Bamiluki upla lo ples lo Papua New Guinea. Thank you, Tru.